Hi all, this is Miss Pranita with Masters in Foods and Nutrition. So in today's session, we are going to see about geriatric nutrition. So when it comes to geriatric nutrition, with the word, it means that it is going to involve uh, the requirements of nutrition to old age people, or we can call it as elder people whose age is above 60. And when it comes to age above 60 or old age people, their body requires certain extra care and concern when it comes to the aspect of a nutrition. So it is very important for them to take care of their health and mental health along with the well-being. So let us see in detail about the geriatric nutrition and its importance. So when it comes to definition, so nutrition principles for the old age people is the concept of the geriatric nutrition. So the management of not only the physical but also the psychological and psychosocial is also required. So when it comes to old age people, that particular age range, it means that they feel lonely, and it is called as an empty nest basically. This particular age, when it comes to human development, they specify that it is an empty stage or empty age. So when this aspect is coming, we call it as an empty stage because it's obviously the childrens of their own will leave the nest and they go somewhere else for the work purpose and all these things. So it is associated with growing old. So obviously when they are getting old, they might feel it is very difficult for them to go with metabolism completely slows down, and along with that, uh, loss of muscle mass will take place, and the hormones activity will get slow. So all these aspects plays a very important role when it comes to geriatric nutrition. So obviously how much ever nutrition we give, according to the body metabolism, it has to be given. So we must not consider only since they are old age and since they are elderly we must focus more on nutrition. Keeping them on going on feeding will not what to say will not meet the requirement that is required. So let us see in detail about what has to be done and how the diet plan has to be proceeded and what are the other factors to be considered when it comes to geriatric nutrition. But however, we can see the difference, or we can see that they can live for long, or they can stay away from any sort of chronic disorders by maintaining the proper diet based on the person's requirement. So let us deep dive into the topic. So importance of a proper nutrition in older adults. So the first point to be considered is maintaining the health. So when it comes to maintaining a health, it is not only the physical health but also the cognitive health which is required. So what is the meaning of cognitive health? When it comes to cognitive health, it's all about the people in what age they do remember things. So all these things is required because when they get old or when a person get old, obviously the person are suspected to like they do miss things which is happening, and they do lose interest, and they don't know what they're doing, and they do forget often what they do and what they do because of certain diseases that takes place. For example, alzheimer's is the major example when it comes to focusing on a cognitive health. So all these factors plays a very important role, and obviously we could find that the old age people, they do suffer from certain chronic disorders when it comes to like diabetes and heart disease, and along with it osteoporosis. So aspect of an osteoporosis is that there is a possibility where we can find the softening of the bones, and there will be a pores in bones which is due to the deficiency of a calcium and vitamin D. So the first thing is to maintaining the health, and second is all about the boosting immunity. So all these factors we do saw like maintaining health, and we could find the chronic disorders that is taking place. When it comes to immunity, it will prevent from any sort of major affect like foreign particles getting entering into the body. So all these things has to be hindered by boosting immunity. That is very important support for them to stay away from any sort of an external causes or external disorders from through foreign bodies. So all these things has to be taken care. Next is going to be improving energy levels. Obviously the old age people, they don't get energy levels as soon as they do consume food, because the metabolism is completely slowed down, and it takes time for them to produce energy through the food that they consume. So it is very important for them to maintain energy levels. What we have to do is like we have to split the meal portion size has to be considered when it comes to maintaining the energy level. So rather than going for three portion size or three meals per day, we can split it up into 5 to 6 meals per day. That will give you the intermediate energy or immediate energy that is required for maintaining the energy levels. And along with that, supporting certain cognitive functions. So again and again, why we are speaking about cognitive function is like, obviously the mental health and the mental capability will completely slow down when a person is getting old. So it is very important for them to focus, or for us to focus as a nutritionist, their cognitive health. So what has to be supplemented, what are the formats can be supplemented for the people through food is all about like, we have to go with unsaturated fatty acids like omega 3 fatty acids, omega 6 fatty acids. uh, all these factors has to be considered. And along with that, we have to take care of major fatty acids and antioxidants, along with vitamin B complexes or vitamin B, which is required. So all these things is very important for us to focus on importance of a proper nutrition when it comes to the older adults. So next is going to be on common nutritional challenges in elderly. So what are the major common nutritional challenges that is taking place? How much ever we give diet, we could find that there is a gap between the good health and the balancing proper diet in when it comes to older elderly people. So what is challenges that is taking place? So it is all about decreased appetite. They don't feel like having food, they don't feel hungry. So what happens is like, we would have noticed like the elderly people who is present at home in general, they don't have food in time, they take extra time to consume food. We compel them as a family members to just come and join and have foods, but they hesitate, they don't have it on time, they do sit and have it separately in lonely manner, which is like, which has to be avoided because they don't feel hungry at the specific time. So that has been happening, and they do feel difficulty in chewing and swallowing. So like, obviously it is going to be very difficult for them to chew and swallow because the gums will get weaker and the muscles will get weaker. They feel tired to consume food products, to be frank. And then remittent mobility. What is mobility? Is all about the movement. They don't feel like doing things, they don't feel very active, and they don't move here and there often as we do, because we are at the younger age we can do, but still the older people can't do move, and they feel lower in mobility, and that will hinder them to take a food on their own and to serve on their own and to consume. They feel even tired to feed themselves, to serve themselves. So all these things are the major hinders, and they don't feel like getting groceries for their own. So the mobility hinders, obviously they don't move and they don't get groceries which is required for them to have a proper diet. So this is a general aspects. Let us deep diving into the common nutritional challenges in detailed manner. So obviously, when these aspects, we could find that there is a loss of appetite, there is a loss of mobility where that is not taking place, and we could find that is leading to unintentional weight loss in elderly people. So unintentional weight loss, we would have heard that elderly people, they do gain weight because of more loss of mobility, but there is a chances we can find that there is a weight loss when it comes to elder age. Why it is that is happening? So it is not common in all senior citizens, but we could find that there are certain unintentional weight loss that is taking place. If that is taking place, it is going to be the most dangerous health risk that is going to happen for elderly, because when they get bigger, they do become thinner, and that leads to weight loss, and they don't get enough amount of carbohydrate and the protein that is required for the muscle mass and to provide an energy basically. So the first thing that is taking place is taste changes. They don't have good sense of taste, smell, and which is naturally get weakened along with the age. So sense of taste and smell, they do get weaker and when it comes to along with the age. So this is certain happens. So these is all happening. What happens is like, they tend to have more salt, more sugar, because they don't get the sense or the feel of the food that they usually consume. So that leads to increased amount of a sodium content in your diet and increased amount of the sugar format in your diet, which will lead to the chronic disorders like kidney failure or stone formation, and along with that, diabetes. It can be type 1 or type 2 diabetes based on the condition that has been coming up. So next is going to be on loss of appetite. So as we saw earlier, when it comes to loss of appetite, what happens is like, so what is the link between the appetite that has been taking place? Why it is slower in the older generation? Because it is due to the low metabolism. Metabolism will completely slow down. It is not like, I can't say abruptly completely slows down, but it slows down when they get old. So because of that, they don't feel like having food, they don't feel hungry. so they don't consume good amount of food. So what has to be done is like they have to go with split up the meals and they must consume, so that will help them to feel hungry on and off. That can be done. So instead of having huge amount of portion size at the particular time of a period, they can split it up into the small portion size and divide into five number of portion size per day. So that will help them to feel appetite or feel hungry. And it's better that we season the foods with herbs or like citrus or spices or whatever it is, rather than going for salt. So we have to alternate based on the requirement or based on the needs that is to be met. Yes. So next problem is going to be on oral health and dental problems. So obviously the older people, the elderly people will feel dry mouth. So they do have dry mouth and they experience dry mouth. So that is going to be because of the side effects that is going to happen due to the consumption of medications that is taking place. And obviously the saliva reduction will happen when we get old. So that is also the major interlink when it comes to dry mouth and dentures. So obviously they do have the habit that, like, obviously the old age people will have an extra, like, external teeth to be attached dentures, which is taking place, and at times it will not fix in a proper or to say proper placement. If that is not happening, obviously they feel difficult and they feel pain and all these things happening, so it is difficult for them to chew the food. And next is going to be dysphagia. When it comes to dysphagia, it is going to be, the meaning is difficulty in swallowing the food products. It can be either solid or liquid. It is going to be difficult for them to swallow. So the method or the way that we give them or serve them a food has to be soothing for them to consume. So we must not give them hard food products, like it has to be very difficult to chew and swallow, which not must not be encouraged when it comes to diet for the elderly people. We must give them a soft diet, or it's better that we go for a soft diet rather than the complete liquid diet, based on the condition or based on the chronic or acute disorders that they have. If in case they have, if they are normal, we can go with the soft diet. Even though they are okay and they are capable of chewing, it's better that we go with soft diet rather than going for very hard diet, like very solid diet, to be frank. So dysphagia is going to be very difficult to swallow the food products, and that is going to be taken place. So these are the certain problems that has been happening. Because of that, they might have that unintentional weight loss that is taking place. So along with that, mobility. So when it comes to mobility, so we must not compromise our diet because of mobility, so that must not be encouraged, we being a family members, when it comes to elder people. If in case by chance nowadays, like nowadays we can't say, like it's been a long, like people of elderly people, are they living alone? Many are living alone. That is what is emptiness is all about. So when they are living alone, they don't take care of themselves. They feel like, from here on, what is going to happen, let me take rest, or let me not give my 100 percentage effort to take care of myself. If that is the case, it is going to be difficult for the elderly people to sustain their life for the longer run. So it is better that we not compromise the things because of mobility. So what we can do is, like, we can have an alternative. So home delivery can be done from the grocery shops, where we can order. We do have an online options nowadays, we can order it. If they are not aware about the online ordering, or they feel difficult, what we can do is, like, we can encourage them by making them phone calls for the grocery stores which is available. They can order through phone call and they can get it done. So that can be the taken place. And swap services may be done, like a student or neighbor who is near, who are more interested to help you, who are concerned about you, where we can use them to get groceries, whatever required for the home. In turn, if they don't what to say demand anything, so just sharing is caring, no? So that can be done. And share your home. So obviously what we can do is, like, instead of making elderly people to stay alone, we can make them to stay along with us, and where we can have a huge, what to say, interaction or interactions that has been taking place. So which can also be done where the housemates help them, who are willing to buy the grocery shopping for them. And along with that, meals on wheels. Nowadays there are certain dietetics outlets which is available, dietitians who are running on their own. So they do have a meals on wheels, where they are providing meals for the elderly people. So that can also be done, where we can ask them for the hot meals which can be delivered to your home. So these are the certain aspects. So we do have options. So it's not like it's nowadays the things are getting developed, so we need not to hesitate or we need not to set back stating that I am not feeling energetic to do works on myself, so let me not bother others or let me not disturb others. Nothing cause of disturbing others. Taking care of one's elderly's health is very important. So all these aspects are there and we can use it up. Next is going to be no eating alone. So we must say that not to eat alone. So when it comes to elderly people, we must not allow them to eat alone. So it's better that we have their favorite person or a friend along with them, or to have any sort of join a class or a volunteering thing where everyone are like likely minded together. So everyone have a certain mentality and they can share it and have it. And we do have certain like activities or daycare services which is also available, so we can go with eating together or eating with people whom you feel comfortable rather than eating alone. So when the elderly people eat alone, it is going to be very difficult for them to like consume the whole meal which is required. So which is like, I'm not telling huge amount of meal, it's going to be like the required basic meal which is required. They do set it back and they do have very small proportion rather than having a required optimal amount of nutrition which is required. So these are the certain aspects which has to be considered. So next we are getting into the major point which is needed for elderly nutrition. So when it comes to nutrition, the dietary requirements plays a lot. So what are the specific nutrients that is required and which might be deficit for the elderly people? The first and foremost thing is going to be like the basic rules to boost the health of an elderly people is to be focused on the food products like fruits, vegetables, along with whole grains, legumes, and we can go with non-fat dairy products also. And we have to focus on high protein contents. For example, like we can focus on fish, lean meats, poultry, nuts, lentils, and soy products, which is a source of good amount of a protein. And also we have to limit an high saturated fat, sodium, and sugar for the people, for the elderly people. So all these aspects has to be taken care, and they are not allowed to take any sort of an alcohol, so that is not highly prescribed. And obviously when we have just now we saw that a person is like they have a certain nutritional like certain social problems, because of that they are getting into underweight. So there are people, elderly people, who do gain weight because of having too much of food content. So that might lead to weight gain. So because why it is leading to weight gain, why can't we do any sort of an exercise, something like that? Yes, we have to prescribe exercise for the elderly people, which is highly recommended. Either it can be a walk or along with surya namaskar, which will help them to what to say make them feel energetic and more positive. So all these aspects is required. If in case the mobility is completely less for the elderly people, we must cut down the portion size into the small parts, and that will help them to utilize as an energy, and that will not help them that will not lead to the conversion of a fat and to gain weight. So all these aspects is very important when it comes to elderly thing, because the metabolism is completely low. So slow down of a metabolism, what will happen, there will be an increase in fat. So when a carbohydrate or a protein is not being utilized as an energy, obviously it is going to be converted into fat and stored into your body. So when you people are not when elderly people can't use up fat to the higher extent, because they don't do any heavy works or something like that. So as a normal individual or an younger individual, they do use up fat in everyday basis, because we require more amount of energy based on the work that we do. So when it comes to elderly, they don't have any much of work as they were doing earlier. So nowadays they don't have any much of work, because they're elderly people, they will be restricted, or they will be sticking on to any sort of a rest sort of thing. No much of mobility will be taking place, so that will lead to increase in weight gain. So all these factors has to be considered. So yes, so when it comes to this that is what, eating too much or eating very less is going to be the adverse effects. So both the sides is not been recommended. We have to focus on optimal nutrition. So now we, as I told, we are going to focus on dietary requirements which is required. So when it comes to dietary requirements, the first and foremost required micronutrient, we call it as calcium. So calcium, when it comes to calcium, the required amount that is being given is going to be around 1000 milligrams to 1200 milligrams for the woman after the age of 50. So when it comes to 1000 and 1200 milligrams, and obviously calcium, for what purpose it is required? To keep the bone healthy and all this thing. And along with that, not only for the bone health, even for the heart and muscle health, calcium has been required. So it is very important to maintain all these factors. And along with that, calcium plays a very important role to take care of certain degenerative diseases, we call it as, which is cancer. So all this is calcium is playing a very important role to prevent from, or prevent, or to not to so exaggerate, but to take care of the cancer causing any sort of an agent, to prevent it from. And along with that, it do take care of diabetes and high blood pressure. So all these things has to be taken care. So what is the sources that is rich in calcium? So we can go with leafy greens or fish. When it comes to fish, we can go for canned salmon or sardines, which is a rich source of calcium. And we can go with the calcium fortified food products, which is also available. And we do have certain soy products and almond. And almond is also a rich source of calcium. And almond beverages nowadays, it has been fortified with calcium. And along with that, the orange juice is also been fortified, certain orange juices. So all these factors has to be considered. Next is going to be fiber. As we could see that gastrointestinal tract is going to be like completely very lessly affected for the elderly people. So they don't feel like any sort of discomfort when it comes to digestion, but they do face constipation. Constipation will be the problem when it comes to elderly people, and digestive problem starts. So when it comes to constipation, what we have to do is like we have to focus on the fiber content of consumption. So those things. So when we are consuming any sort of a food products, it's whatever it is, whatever may be the cause, elderly people have to focus on the fiber content. So yeah, so these are certain requirements. And when it comes to macro and the micronutrient, we could find that protein has to be around 10 to 12 grams per day of requirement, in order to take care of the muscle mass and to take care of the normal functioning that is taking place. Maybe we can focus on glycolysis cycle or Krebs cycle, or gluconeogenesis and major factors, and urea cycle. So all these factors are completely interlinked within the carbohydrate and protein, obviously. So when it comes to protein, urea cycle is going to be the major factor. So that is the requirement. And along with that, to take care of the muscle mass, protein is required 10 to 12 grams per day. So carbohydrates is going to be the percentage can be around 45 to 65 percentage per day. So it can be the focus on, like, it will support the energy level, and it will support the activities for the elderly. When it comes to fat, it is going to be 20 to 35 percentage, which is required. So when it is very important for them to take care of the production of hormone and for the cell growth and all these factors. And the fat is very important for them to focus on fat absorbing vitamins, micronutrients. Fat absorbing micronutrients we do have. So for absorbing those micronutrient, we need fat. So as we call it as diet, like we don't encourage fat. No, fat is required for every individual. So we have to go with the minimal amount, that's it. It's not right completely we have to avoid the fat. No, we can go for unsaturated rather than saturated. So these are the certain requirements that is done. And then vitamin B12. So vitamin B12 has to be like about 20 percentage, which is required. So vitamin B12 is all about, like, we have to focus on certain food products like poultry, eggs and all these things. And we have to focus on the cereals that has been fortified with vitamin B12. So for we can encourage them for them to consume fortified vitamin B12 food products in breakfast. So that can be done when it comes to vitamin B12. Vitamin D, it is required for them to focus on 800 international units, which is the age of 70, above age of 70. 800 international units is required. So what does vitamin D do? As we know, it is helping us for the bone strength, and along with that, to fight against any sort of a depression. Why does depression is going to take place in elderly people? As I told you, it's going to be the empty nest stage. So depression is going to be the major cause, where nobody is around, I feel lonely, and nobody is there to support me, and I have to take care of my own. So that will lead to depression. So all these factors is interlinked in cognitive health and physical health. So in order to take care of the vitamin D content, we have to focus on like fish oil can be the one of the leading factor. and egg yolks can be consumed. And along with that, we do have more and more food products that has been coming up with the fortification of vitamin D. So when it comes to fortification, it's like manually added, additionally added to a food product. It doesn't have vitamin D, but additionally it has been added. So we can see that the breakfast cereals nowadays, which has been coming up, are being fortified with vitamin D sources. So along with that, potassium. So when it comes to potassium, elderly man have to focus on potassium to be away from blood pressure. So blood pressure is going to be the major cause when it comes to elderly and for the younger also. So all these factors has to be getting taken care. Potassium content can be focused when we are consuming vegetables, beans, fruits, and all these things, and non fatty diet products which has been taking place. And what are the dietary recommendations when it comes to geriatric population? Fruits and vegetables has to be taken care because they do have a good amount of vitamins and minerals, and also good sources of fiber. So when it comes to whole grains, they do take care of the whole grains of vitamins and minerals, and along with the rice, quinoa, whole wheat bread, or bread, and all these things. We can focus on millets. Millets can also be the one of the option when it comes to whole grains, and lean protein sources which has been done. And we can go for like protein sources. We can go for tofu and all these products which has been available, soya bean and all these things. And the low fat dairy products can also be preferred because dairy products will provide you with vitamin D, and along with that protein, and which is helpful for the essential bone health, because the old elderly people are susceptible for the osteoporosis. So we have to focus majorly on vitamin D and calcium requirements when it comes to elderly people. And next is going to be, we have to focus even on malnutrition, undernutrition, as I told you, because of certain nutritional other factors. They do have an unintentional weight loss, which is malnutrition, undernutrition. So we have to identify the cause, what is the major cause, and we have to do the nutritional assessment. When it comes to nutritional assessment, we can go for direct or indirect assessment which can be done. So when it comes to direct assessment, when it comes to elderly, we can focus on weight and height, which is going to be calculated with BMI. And along with that, we can go for muscle mass ratio, which can be taken place. MUAC can be done. Mid upper arm circumference can be measured. Hip ratio, and all these factors has to be taken care. So and then we can go with tailored dietary interventions. Dietary interventions, we can give certain ideas, and plans can be done based on the preferences and likes and dislikes. When it comes to elderly, you must not go for granted. They are not for granted. We have to consider their likes and dislikes, because as they grow older, we do have likes and dislikes. Everybody have likes and dislikes. So we have to take care of that likes and dislikes when you're planning a diet plan. And we have to monitor the progress. Just giving a diet plan or just giving a plan and leaving them aside is not a matter. We have to monitor the progress, and we have to monitor the the changes that has been taking place over the time period. And if, as I told you earlier, the metabolism is going to be slowed down, so it's going to be affecting the absorption of any sort of a specific nutrient. So if that is going to take place, we can go with any sort of supplements when you are being concerned with specific nutritionist or doctors prescribed. So only when you are prescribed, we have to go with supplements. More nutrients can be acquired through food, but when your absorption is slowed down, how much ever you consume, it will not be absorbed, it will be got out. So it's better that we go with any sort of a supplementation. We can go with vitamin D supplementation, calcium, vitamin B12, and omega 3 fatty acids. Those supplementations are also generally available. So when it comes to vitamin D, bone health and immunity, along with depression. Okay. And calcium is going to help you to maintain the bone density and to prevent osteoporosis. Vitamin B12 will help you to take care of all this iron absorption and things stuffs. So anemic can be prevented. Omega 3 fatty acids will help you to take care of an heart health and brain function, and it will help you to prevent or reduce inflammation. Yes, all these factors has to be taken care. So when it comes to the conclusion and takeaways of the session, so we would have seen like what are the requirements, what are the area of gaps that is available when it comes to geriatric nutrition. So the major dietary requirements or focus has to be on calcium, protein, carbohydrate, fat. Yes, vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin B12. Yes, along with that potassium. So all these factors has to be taken care. So as I told you, people, the elderly age is going to be empty nest. Why I'm specifically saying this particular term again and again, because obviously the elderly will be alone, and it's not for great day. They will be taking for a granted, and they don't feel like living the life fullest. Okay, they feel like, okay, I'm done with everything, I'm not going to take care of anything, so that state will come. So we must not allow them to go with that progression. We have to take care of certain factors and recommendations which has to be done. So in geriatric nutrition is a critical aspect, basically maintaining the health and the well-being by the adults, by understanding the unique nutritional requirements, by taking care of assessment, as I told you, biochemical, it can be the clinical assessment. We have to go with all these aspects and we have to focus which is deficit and which is good, and based on that we have to take care of the geriatric stuffs. So geriatric nutrition is specific, and we have to cope up with geriatric and elder people. Or obviously they do deficit with sense of taste, smell, and they don't feel like having anything. And obviously when it comes to this particular geriatric nutrition, most of the people they do suffer from gastroesophageal reflux, which we call it as GERD. So GERD is going to be treated with any sort of uh, majorly the concern with the doctors has to be taken care, and the supplementation which has to be given has to be concerned with a doctor or a nutritionist, and then we have to proceed with further. So it's better that we take care of elderly people and for the better future. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening to this session. I hope this session was very useful. Thank you.